Hello students. In last lecture we have discussed about the how the nature of the product is important in determining the way of reaction mechanism. And in that we have discussed some examples that how spectroscopic techniques is useful for the determination or to illustrate the current structure and from that to determine the mechanism. Another action we have discussed that formation of the side product is also play important role in determining the reaction mechanism. So in continuation that today we will discuss some of the examples that how the product and the side product of the impurity is useful in determining the way of reaction mechanism. The example is that hydrolysis of this isomeric chloride, that is one, and the another isomer is that on hydrolysis it gives tertiary alcohol as a major product and primary alcohol as a minor product. So first of all it gives intermediate, this carbocation intermediate first, and in this case it gives this intermediate. So if you observe it, the first compound gives this primary carbocation and this second compound gives this tertiary carbocation. Subsequently what happens after getting these carbocations, interesting part is that and this case so obtain these two alcohols. This tertiary alcohols obtained in major amount, that is in 85%, and this is in 15%. Interesting part in this reaction is that this mixture gives this ratio of the product. In other way, if it's even a single isomer is also treated, it delivers the same ratio of the product. So what it indicates is that this primary carbocation is in conjugation with this pi bond. So ultimately what happens, it stabilizes it and it gives this carbocation, tertiary carbocation is in major amount, and subsequently it delivers the tertiary alcohol product as a major product. So what is the important thing is that mixture of isomeric chloride or a single isomer delivers the same ratio of the product. Mixture of this isomeric allyl chloride or either the single compound first or second single compound delivers the same ratio of the product. That means you use either compound 2 or compound 1, it is going to deliver the same ratio. What it indicates is that even though if you use this compound first, it will primarily form this primary carbocation, but subsequently in reaction, because of this pi conjugation, this will get stabilized and it will get converted into tertiary carbocation, and ultimately it is going to deliver, although it's a primary halo compounds, still it will deliver the 85% of the tertiary alcohol. So it indicates that this reaction is going via this tertiary carbocation intermediate, and we can determine we can predict the mechanism. Fine. So next example we will discuss. I am sure you might have studied this reaction in your undergraduate class. Addition of bromine against this ethene in presence of aqueous sodium chloride, it delivers product something like this: 1 bromo, 2 chloroethane, plus it delivers 1 dibromoethane. 1 dibromoethane. So what it indicates? It indicates that reaction is not working via single step. Single step means reaction is not working via like this. And ultimately it is going to deliver 1 dibromoethane, because presence of this product indicates that reaction is not working via this single step. So reaction is working via some different mechanism. So then what could be that mechanism? Mechanism may be working like this. It will form this bromonium ion. Once the bromonium ion has formed, there will be competition in between Br minus and Cl minus, because in reaction condition there is a aqueous sodium chloride is there, so it delivers the product which I have mentioned. So what I am trying to tell is that the product accompanies in the reaction is also important, or it gives the important information about the reaction mechanism, and from that one can determine the reaction mechanism. Another classical example is that reaction is also very simple reaction and basic reaction. Chlorination of methane in presence of light. It gives this methyl chloride or chloromethane. So can you write the mechanism for this one? I am sure this reaction also you might have studied in your undergraduate class. So reaction is working like this in presence of light means how this reaction will work, and the interesting part is that how we can determine that this reaction is working via cationic mechanism or radical mechanism. In this reaction, this methyl chloride accompanies with or along with this methyl chloride, formation of this ethane takes place, and this ethane tells us that this reaction is not working via simple cationic mechanism. So then what could be the pathway of the mechanism? The reaction mechanism starts from here. In presence of light, it gives 2-chloro radical. It generates 2-chloro radical, and subsequently what happens? One of the chloro radical takes part in the reaction, and it induces the formation of the radical from the methane, and it gives this methyl radical. Subsequently, it gets couples hydrogen radical and this chlorine radical. It will give this HCl. This methyl radical subsequently induce the generation of another chloro radical, and it will lead to the formation of this methyl radical. But there is a possibility which I have shown here that in this reaction it gives a ethane also. So there is a possibility that one methyl radical recombination we say to this reaction, these two methyl radicals come together and it would end up to give this ethane. So that's why when we do chlorination of methane along with the methyl chloride, we obtain the ethane in the reaction. Another interesting example, this reaction also you might have studied in your MSc first year class, Beckmann rearrangement. Reaction of acetophenone you note the reaction. Fine, we start from here. Reaction of acetophenone with hydroxylamine. Use this hydroxyne. But in this reaction, there is a possibility that we may get this another oxime also, and that oxime would be something like this. So what is the difference here is that in one isomer, this phenyl is anti-peripheral to this leaving group, that is OH, and in another isomer, this methyl is anti-peripheral to this OH. In presence of an acid, in presence of bromuric acid or Lewis acid, in presence of bromuric acid or Lewis acid, bromuric acid H plus, which gives H plus H2SO4 HCl, and Lewis acid is NCl3. PCl3, PCl5. This reagent has used in Beckmann reagent. So what happens? In one case, it becomes good leaving group. In another isomer, write that also. If Lewis acid is there, then this lone pair of electron will get conjugate or will accept the Lewis acid, and it will make this OH as a good leaving group, as I have shown here by protonating it. It's simple later also. You may use PCl3 or PCl5. So what happens here now? As I said, this methyl is now anti-periplanar to this good leaving group which we have made now H2O plus, and this phenyl is anti-periplanar. So what will happen? This pH group will migrate and will make the attack on this nitrogen, and subsequently this will get cleared and it will deliver something product like this. Let me write like this. In one case, we will obtain this intermediate. In another case, this lone pair will conjugation will get stabilized. It will form natrinium ion. Another possibility is that this from this actually ion subsequently this nullifies this charge, means that on this intermediate, and it will do something like this. I will write the CH3 should directly, because it will abstract the proton from this show it directly or like this, no problem. And in another case, I am showing it directly, protonation and this N minus and this moment of this bond. So it is going to deliver respective amides. In one case, it will deliver CH3 NH, and another product is something like this. Fine. It's a N-methyl benzamide and this is a N-phenyl benzamide. So what this product gives the information is that this product gives the information that once this intermediate has formed, the migration of this group, either it's an alkyl group or aryl group or alkyl group, the migration will take place anti-ferrite planar, and because of that it delivers this N-methyl and N-phenyl amide product, N-methyl benzamide and N-phenyl acetamide product. What the point? This addition product will deliver this oxime product. There is a possibility to get this to oxime. In one case, methyl will be anti-ferrite planar to the OH. In one case, phenyl will be anti-ferrite planar to this OH. That is a living group which we are going to, as I said, we can make by using Bronsted acid or Lewis acid. So if phenyl is an anti-ferrite planar, it will deliver this product, and subsequently this product will deliver this N-phenyl acetamide product, and if this methyl is anti-ferrite planar, this will deliver this N-methyl benzamide product. I hope you got the point which I wanted to convey you, that how the nature of the product, side product or some spectroscopic techniques is important to determine the way of reaction mechanism. Next point which we are going to discuss is that determination of the presence of an intermediate, study of intermediate. We have discussed the first point, that is how the nature of the product is important in determining the reaction mechanism. Like this, we are going to discuss determination of the study of intermediates. How intermediates are useful in determining the way of reaction mechanism. This is also very interesting. One can determine the mechanism with the help of intermediate by different methods. First, by physical method. Physical method means by using spectroscopic techniques, NMR, by using NMR, nuclear magnetic resonance, and by mass spectrophotometer one can determine the intermediates. And another technique is that, another spectroscopic technique, ESR, electron spin resonance, we can determine by the unpaired electrons, ESR, electron spin resonance, whether there is an unpaired electron or not, is there or not. So by this also we can determine the mechanism. Flash photolysis is also one of the important technique by which we can determine or we can identify the presence of intermediate. We can characterize that intermediate, and from that intermediate we can determine the mechanism. Another mechanistic approach is that by trapping the intermediates, by trapping the carbene, by trapping the nitrine, or by isolating various intermediates, one can determine, or one can give the hypothesis of the mechanism and check with these experiments. So particularly in case of an intermediate, there are a number of methods by which one can determine the reaction mechanism. Very classical example I will give you first before proceeding to the trapping of carbene and trapping of nitrine. I am very sure that this reaction also you might have studied in your MSc first year. That is the Hofmann-Radman. What is a Hofmann-Radman? Hofmann-Radman is nothing but reaction of an amide gives this primary amine in presence of NaOH, Br2 interaction will form this NaOBr. So what is the reaction? Reaction of an amide which gives, how this reaction takes place? This reaction takes place something like this. One may show with a different mechanism. First of all, it abstracts this proton from this amide and form this amide ion. This amide ion subsequently attacks on this bromine it gives this bromoamide ion then again it abstracts another proton, it generates this bromoamide ion. So what happens here? Radman takes place. This electron moves and this electron will come up. This bromine will kick out by this migrating R group. So what will happen here? It will form this isocyanate. So in this reaction, how this mechanism is determined? By determining this isolation of this bromide ion, isolating this bromamide, and even isolating by this bromamide ion. And by characterizing this, either it's amide ion or bromamide and this bromamide ion. By tapping this intermediate, by isolating this intermediate, this mechanism has proposed, and subsequently we know that it delivers subsequently it gets protonated, it protonates and it forms something like this. Further, on decarboxylation, it gives this primary amine and it expels this carbon dioxide. So what I wanted to tell is that, as I said, either by isolating the intermediates and characterizing that intermediates with different spectroscopy techniques, physical methods, by NMR, by using mass, by using flash photolysis, by using if radical is there, by using ESR, electron spin resonance, one can determine the reaction mechanism. Even if free radical is there, by tapping with a radical scavenger, that is the tempo, one can determine the reaction mechanism with this intermediate. So this is the best example, and which you have studied in your previous year. By isolating this, either this amide ion or this bromamide ion, one can determine, or this reaction has, the pathway of this reaction has determined. I hope that you got this point. In next lecture we will discuss how the intermediate has isolated or trapped in case of an carbene, in case of a nitrate, or even in case of a classical iso-substitution reaction where it forms a sigma complex, or even in case of a classical aromatic electrolytic substitution reaction, and in that case also how the sigma complex has isolated and determined the reaction mechanism. Thank you.